Well, hello everyone. It's getting set up here. Let's see. I hope everyone is having a great day. I just broke a nail. So if you're hearing that horrible sound, I apologize. I think we are set to go. I think. So I do, first let me apologize for last Sunday. But as you can hear, we are still getting through whatever this is that I have. But I do apologize for the short notice in canceling. Did not mean to do that. Good morning, Cordelia. How are you doing? Just going to continue to set up. Now, since we are in the first Sunday of the month, we are going to tangle. I'm just also going to shut down the computer so that we don't have any side noises or anything like that. Get my glasses on. All right. So I hope everyone has had a great couple of weeks. And I hope everyone is not getting what's going around. And I do apologize. I do still sound a little bit stuffy. But that's just the nature. I am feeling better. And that is what is best, right? All right. So I've got my normal supplies. I've got different tiles, different shapes, different papers. Again, for the first one, I'm going to be using the Zentangle Zendala. It's a beautiful 4.5-inch square. It is one of, I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit. It is one of my favorite tiles for tangling. But again, use what you have, whether that's copy paper, whether that's a ballpoint pen, a number 2 pencil, a Q-tip. Those can all be used and are just fine to tangle with. So please, I encourage you, use what you have. I've grabbed a bunch of my fine liners. I'm going to be using my Micron, and I have them in 01, and I have a gray in 01, I have a brown in 01, and then different sizes in the black in case I'm going to do any inking. All right. I'll also be giving some updates today and where we are at when it comes to our community. We are moving the platform for different reasons of where it was sitting now. And that's just something I just wanted to, take care of to make it better for everyone. And I'll be providing those updates as we go. Okay, so let's get started. Let's have some fun. So with this one, this is the Renaissance tile, and they've recently changed the color. So again, you can also use, watercolor paper, hot press, watercolor paper that comes in different sizes. Um, but again, use what you have so that we can tangle along. And that's okay, Cordelia. In the new platform, all of that has been transferred over, and I am sure that you've received a lot of notifications with that. But everything has been cycled over into our community here. All right, so let's get started. The first one I'm going to do is a tangle called Rumpus. It is a Zentangle tile or tangle. And it's really interesting how it forms. And that's by Zentangle Inc. All right, let's put that there so that everyone can see it as we're working. And I'm going to start out with my black 01. And it starts out with a small orb in the center, just like that. And then we're going to do 6 orbs around it. So I'm going to have one here. And then I'll come down and put one here. And put one here. Here. Turn my tile just so that we can have that there. So those are our orbs. Good morning, Vicki. How are you doing? We are tangling today. Today is the first Sunday. And then we're going to get back on our schedule. And then once you do the orbs, Rumpus is nothing more than a bunch of C curves to basically do the first connection. And that's what we're going to do. And the C orbs come from the base of the orb and comes down. And then we do one on the other side. And we're going to keep doing that around. Get this initial shape going. Good morning, Kalinda. How are you doing? And if you want to see more with this tangle, this is a tangle that Maria, one of the founders of Zentangle, did on their channel. And now we're going to connect them around the outside. So just doing the same principle, making these rice shapes. Around. And our last one. So we've got this kind of wheel going on here. Now we're going to add depth to it. So we're going to do that same thing, but we're going to come out the side. So we're going to come out the top of this, and then we're going to mirror that. And if we have to go behind, we can go behind. And I'm going to keep turning my tile. And if you notice, I'm doing all the ones to the left. We're not going back and forth. And now we're going to do the ones going this way. And you want to take your time because you're going to go behind this one that we just did. So when I come down, I'm going to stop and I'm going to continue to the other side as I come around. So it's looking like they're weaving together in a way. Good morning, Gwen. So again, we stop, we pick up, and we continue down. We stop, we pick up. But you do want to take your time with this one because you want to remember to do that drawing behind. And that's why we focus on the one side first, and then we come back in and do the right side. So now it just looks like it's this flower that's just blooming. All right, so now I'm going to add the outside to these here. We can do those separate. I'm just going to put a bump. You can see just how this fills, kind of like rounds out this tangle. All right, so that's what we've got so far. And we can do the same thing in here if we want. You just really want to make sure that you're intertwining that. But I want to keep that open because I've got some triangle shapes here that we're going to do some things in. And I don't want to fill that up. So that is the start of Rumpus. All right, I'm going to switch to my brown 01. And in the initial rice shapes that we created, going to put some orbs. I'm going to squish those in there. I'm going to come on the other side. So this is like a form of perk. It comes to the orbs. And then I just like to retrace them to fill in those openings. It just gives the illusion that it's a bunch of peas in a pod. Just like that. And we're going to do that to each of these. You can see as I'm doing this, I'm not doing the full orb shape. I'm kind of coming off, creating that center. It's just one way to get them all squeezed in there. Make it look like they're about to burst out. And again, when we use what we have, you can use a black pen, a blue pen, a red pen. Pens come in so many different colors now. And that can give you a lot of interest when it comes to your tangles. And I am definitely a, I guess you can say, a traditionalist in tangling. I do like the white tile with the black ink and then the graphite. It's kind of what I lean towards, but I do every once in a while enjoy a colored tile like a tan or a gray, because then that can introduce the white chalk. And I love the white chalk. All right, check the comments here. Good morning, Kelly. How are you? So, Cordelia, this is a 4.5 inch diameter circle, but it can be any size that you want. For a tangle like this, because it can just keep growing and growing, I think your 4.5 is a good size, and I tend to tangle big. I'm not a small tangler. And that's something that I'm kind of working on, just to get the difference in sizes. And on our last one in the center, again, always take your time. Don't rush. No need to rush the process. There we go. And then I think we're going to do, I think on these, on our outer bands, I think I'm going to do print tops. And just squeeze those in. And print tops is just a spiral. Print tops is actually the French word for spring. And again, still working with the brown micron. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm starting in the center, and then I'm going out on each side. You can start at one end if you wanted to. However you would want to place that tangle. And even though we started with Rumpus, I mean, and once we get these filled in, you can stop there. We're going to go one step further. Squeeze one right in there. It is Cordelia. When you start bigger, if you're learning a new tangle, it can help you get the feel of it and get your hand used to those strokes for the tangle. But, and again, you can stick with that. You know, just, you don't have to, you know, get your tangles down. If you like, you know, Zentangle has so many different sizes of tiles. You know, they go from the original 3.5-inch square, and then they went into the Zentangle, which is this, the 4.5-inch circle. They have a small little triangle, which is known as the 3Z, which I'm trying to find that size. They have the 2-inch bijou. You know, their largest tile is 10.5 by 10.5. They have a 5 tile, which is 3 by 5, and then they have the 5 by 5 square. So yeah, I mean, they keep expanding on those. Now I'm gonna just retrace a line. I'm gonna come in with my 3 black micron, and I'm gonna retrace these lines. around my print tabs. I'm just going to take my time. And I'm not adding any pressure. This is just a larger nib size pen, but I want these outlines just to stand out just a little bit more. So by retracing, you can see they just stand out just a little bit more. With the 01, I'm not putting much pressure, so sometimes that stroke for me is just a little bit lighter. And again, you don't have to use an 01 nib. You can use any size nib. You can use the PN, which is a plastic nib, which I think is a great pen to start out with. Because when we start, we want to really put pressure down. There we go. All right, I am going to go back to my 01 in black. I'm going to come in real quick with my brown. Here, I'm going to add some flux into this corner. We always have to have a little bit of flux. Again, I'm just coming out that corner, coming up, and coming back down. I'm going to add another and another. And that's how we're going to fill in that space. Again, you don't have to. Any strange noises on my cat? Bless his heart. There we go. We can even add, flux coming out here if we want. Caroline, good morning. How are you? I'm going to do the same thing for these. Again, I'm just drawing another orb on the inside, inking it in, but leaving a highlight spot. For our centers here, I'm going to add some hatching. So hatching, or not hatching, well, yeah. So these are just lines that I'm going to pull up. And these are just little tiny, they're like flecks coming out on the points. on each side. And when you do that, it actually adds a little bit of shading. So we don't always, this is a different type of stroke that we're making. Again, just keeping that two-tone. And even with this, you want to take your time so that you know what rice shape you're working on. It's almost like you're feathering out. And then I think I'm going to do that to the ones on the outside as well. Okay, using a light hand. Sorry, I had to get myself something to drink there. And here we go. Rumpus. Good morning, Ave. How are you doing? That is Rumpus. Okay, let's bring this to life. I'm going to bring in, this is getting really small, but that's okay. So now we're going to start shading. And here I'm going to put just a little bit down here and a little bit on the top. And I like to get all of the graphite down first, then blend it out. Again, this is nothing that needs to be exact because our blending stump or tortillon or Q-tip, whatever we want to use can be used. I am, even though we did that hatching, I'm still going to add a little bit to these points just to emphasize them. You can go over. Going to go to the base of flux. And then I'm just going to go to the outside. I'm not going to go over the print tops. And we'll see why. All right, let's see what this looks like. I like to work usually in small circles as I'm blending this out. And then just our outside ones. All right, that's what it looks so far. The shading it just really wakes it up. All right. The white chalk is going to come down the center. And when it comes to the white chalk, I don't even blend it. I just go straight and just leave it like that. And usually my finger comes in. And here, that's where I put the white right over these, our print tops, just to give that difference. That's one of the beauties of the different colored tiles. You can add these different colors. And then I'm going to go in the center of our outer bands. And it's just giving that highlight. We can do that here. Just a little bit. To really make them come to life. And of course, can't forget the top of the flux. And that's where my finger just comes in. Here we go. That's our first tile. Yeah, see? That's Rumpus. Now, Rumpus, again, is all of these ribbons that are going around. But again, the ribbon gives you a space where you can tangle. All right? So I hope you enjoyed that one. Let me come in with my chop. Yes, I changed my chop. It just looks like it's there. All right, and then we sign it. Yes, that's my signature. It's horrible, I know, and my goodness, it is the 1st of March. Here we go. So you can take one tangle and just keep adding into it. You can change the shape of Rumpus by elongating those original orbs that we put down, so it doesn't have to look like, you know, a direct orb shape itself. You can elongate it, which really makes it look pretty. You can make these ribbons wider and pull them out, but you can see what you get when you have your different color pens as well. Okay. Rumpus. Let's put that there. All right, let's work on, I pulled some other ones out. This is one of my favorites. It is called Dragonair. It's a really cool looking tangle. And it is by Norma Burnell. And let's work on a phi. So this is the phi tile. And I'm going to be traditional on this one. So when it comes to Dragonair, it starts out with a large C curve, or a C curve. Mine are going to be large. And I'm going to start right about here. And just bring it up. I'm going to turn my tile, and we're going to do another one. Just like that. Now you can do just one, you can do multiple, you know, whatever you want to do. Sorry, I'm kind of off camera there. Let's come up a little bit. All right. Then you're going to add these, they're little fescues that are going to come off of this. So you're going to come off of it, and you're going to create all of these going up. And you can have them spaced any way that you want. But they're just these little fescues. And then we'll come up that top. Just like that. So you can have them spaced out any way that you want. You can have them close. You can have them, coming out more. There's no rules to this. Yes, Gwen, this is Dragonair. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Come on. Put this one here. And I'm going to come back and squeeze one in here. I mean, even that looks kind of cool when it comes to that. Now we're going to connect these, and we're going to do that with S-curves. So from this little dot that we've created, we're going to take off, we're going to come around, and we're going to land. And we're going to keep doing that. So I'm taking off on the left of it, coming down, S-curving to the right of the one below. And we just keep repeating that. All right, now for this one down here, I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to close this out, but we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to take off the left and land on the right with that S-curve. And it just, now, and you can also have this come off the other side as well. So if we wanted to create those coming off this way. And you can create this beautiful leaf shape. That's going to go off. But then you're going to do the opposite of what you did here. So here we came off, we took off the left and came down on the right. Here we're going to come off the right and land on the left. And then this one, I'm just going to come off, and land back down. So now you just create that leaf shape. So this here is what Dragonair looks like, just that one side. I figured I would just go to the other side. And again, we're going to do the same thing. But again, I'm going off my tile. Because we can. There you go. Different way for Dragonair. And then I think I'm going to aura these. I'm just going to have them end off the page. So I'm just going to do a close aura. And remember, always turn your tile. Our hands do not need to do yoga. You notice my right hand stays in the same position. And I'm just going to aura this one side because it's closing off. Or it's closed off on the corners. So that aura is like a protector for these two here. Because in here, I'm going to change to my gray. This is a very light gray, 01. Oh, British Columbia Rocky Mountains. Oh my goodness. Woo. Good morning, and I'm going to try this again. Dama Ent. Good morning. All right. So in here, I'm going to come through, and I'm going to add some tipple. In each of these areas here. My cat is snoring loudly. He had a stressful morning. Although I am happy to report, though, I do have grass on my yard. I wasn't quite sure, or we were not quite sure, if we were going to see grass ever again. It's been a very interesting winter for so many. For absolutely so many. Alright, we have that, and then we can add some little ones. Because one's never enough. It's like a potato chip. Can't just have one. I think tipple is great. And it is one of my go-tos for a filler. I just think it's a lot of fun. I think it adds a lot of interest. And we'll always have those tangles that we always gravitate to. We're just filling that in. All right, and then in the center, I'm going to add a larger size orb. And this tangle is called Spoken. So here we go. So we had Dragonair. And that is by, I think it's Norma. Alright, and then this one is called Spoken. And this is by Zentangle. Sorry, my handwriting's horrible. And that's even calm. Very calm. This is just going to start shooting out with fans. And you can put as many as you want. And make them any width that you want. So I have those. And then we aura around these bands, following the original orb that we put. And again, take your time so that you know where you don't cross over. And then we aura the bands. And then once you aura the bands, now we're going to aura the circle again. And you can see, you kind of get this, I call it a stepping stone effect. And then, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you always want to know, always work in your circle, because again, you can forget. And we're going to aura these bands again. And we're back to the circle. And you can see in some areas, the orb for the circle, or the orb, is getting smaller. And I'm actually going to come around and I'm going to do it again. You don't always have to go orb, bands, orb. You can change it up. Now we'll go back to our beans. And you can see I'm going around, stopping where I have to. It's a really fun and different tangle. Here, we're just going to close that up. So that area we're done with. And then this area we're going to be done with as well. I'm going to take that out, and then I'm going to look at these bands, because I should have continued those. I'm not going to the other sides of these. So now that I just have these two areas, I'm just going to focus on these two areas. Now, the points are going to cross themselves. So we've got one side that's going to come here, and we've got one side that's going to come here. And now we'll focus on this one. And just by using the gray pen, it just gives the illusion of that piece in there. There you go. Oh, yeah, this might be a Ruckus. Yeah, this is, my bad. Thank you, Gwen. I always get spoken and a Ruckus mixed up. But Gwen is here to always keep me on track. Thank you. It's also by Zentangle. And if you spell this backwards, it's Sakura. Who makes the pens? Yes. Okay. So now we have that. And I think I'm going to add nothing to my Dragonair. I like the way that it is. So now we're going to shade it. And I'm just going to use the graphite. And I'm going to come from the center. And then here, I'm going to go around where the orbs were arid. And then if I'm using my gray, um, the gray pens, I'll try to go lighter on the graphite because I am heavy-handed with the graphite. And I covered up that one, but that's okay. I'm using the graphite left over so I can highlight the orb that's there. And then I am going to take the darker graphite, which is this. This is the 555, which is it's a much darker graphite. So it's like a B8. And I want to highlight the edge of our Dragonair here. So even though we used a light pen, we can still highlight it. And then we'll do this to the other side. So you can see very dark. I absolutely love it. I'm keeping it very close. I don't want to go too far out because I don't want to take away from the gray pen. And there you go. Dragonair. A little bit different. Again, there's Dragonair. And then a Ruckus. So again, you can get these two different looks. Now you can definitely put Tangles in here if you wanted to. You can add flux, you can add tipple, you can add line work, whatever you would want to do on that. By the time I made it look like it went through the leaf. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with the chop. Yes. That would be my neighbor's dog. Did I do that right? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And again, just the two-tone. So just the black, just the graphite, all of that fun stuff. Good morning, Sean. How are you? And no, no one's ever late. Now, you could also turn that into a jewel if you wanted to. Totally your choice. Totally your choice. Okay. Let's do one more. I pulled a bunch out. Let's try this one. Okay. Gonna work. This is this is one of my favorite papers to tangle on. It's a watercolor paper. I get it from Amazon. Packin'. P-A-C-O-N. Yeah, P-A-C-O-N. It's just a great watercolor. It's not too thick. It's a nice weight. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying my videos. That makes me happy. Very, very happy. So this one's new. So this is going to be, well, all of these, I don't plan these out. I just like, yeah, I like that tangle. Yeah, I like that tangle. And that's how our Sunday Tangle Live happens. This one is called Blockchain. And it is by, yeah, I'm just going to put the name down because I'm really bad at pronunciation. Ludmila, Katz. And I will put that there so we can see it. When it comes to tangles, and you'll always do this, you'll always gravitate to certain styles, to certain types. And I think for this one, I'm going to use my O3. So I'm definitely organic in tangles. I call it flowy, like ribbons, and when it keeps growing on its own, or if it takes a different shape, like Huggins, or Cain, they kind of can take a shape on their own. And this one just kind of sort of reminded me of that. So here we go. We're going to see how this goes. So it starts out with inked in, as I'm shaking my camera, so sorry, inked in rice shapes. So, and I'm just going to have a little fun with this. And we're going to ink those in, and I think I'm actually, let's see here, hold on. don't know. Okay, we'll do that. Now, this is one where you can do it in a straight line, you can angle it, you can do all kinds of fun things with it. And of course, whenever I learn a new tangle, I don't stick with the norm. You know, I want to make it as complex for myself as I can. But again, there is no tangle that we cannot do. There are tangles that become our nemesis. Mine is Muka, but we just need to keep practicing. And we just need to look at each stroke. Try not to look ahead. Just focus on the first stroke that you're doing. And then that will get you through Tangle. I like to suggest that if you're first starting out and you're trying all kinds of tangles and everything else, I think a sketchbook is a great way to do that because you can break it down and make your notes. To how you tangle. And we all tangle differently. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. Oh, yeah, my voice is really deep now. I'm still coming out of the cold. I believe I'm gonna have to go back to my doctor's, but it's all good. It's all good. All right. So this is the first stroke. We create these rice shapes and we ink them in. Now, off of these rice shapes, we're going to do a very faint S curve. And I'm going to focus on the right-hand side for right now. So here, I'm going to come up. There's the S curve. And we're going to do that for each one. And again, it's just a slight, it's almost making it look like a note, like a little note. And again, turn your tile. Am I going off the camera? I hope I'm not. All right, and then bring your tile back to where you were. So this is where I was. Now we're going to do that same thing, but we're going to do it on the left-hand side of the rice, and we're going to come down. So just like that. And you can see I'm turning that tile so that I'm still creating this shape. All right, again, bring my tile back to where I was. Here. The next stroke, and I'm going to kind of go in one, because what you do, we're going to do this to the right side now. We're going to focus on the ones on the top. You're going to come down, and then you're going to come back over. All right? So you're going to come down and then come back over. And you're going to do that to each one. So we come down and we go back over. I'm going to bring that up. We're going to come down and we go back over. Just like that. Now for this top one, I'm going to come down and then I'm going to go out. And then back here, I'm just going to go out. It looks weird. Take the tile back to where you were. Now we're going to do the same thing, but now on the bottom. So I'm going to start over here. And I'm actually going to turn my tile. So I'm going to flip it, because now I'm going to do the same stroke. So I'm going to come down, go over. I'm going to come down, go over. Down, over. Down, over. Down, over. Okay, I'll stop saying it. And now I'm actually back to where I was. And this one, I'm going to go down and then over. So that's what we've got so far. Your next thing is we're going to come off of this rice, and we're going to kind of aura but pull away and then come back in. So I'm going to come from this point, I'm going to come out, and then I'm going to go back in. Show that again. So I'm going to come out, pull away, and I'm going to go back in. So you're almost coming up into this point. And it's almost weighting it just a little bit. So again, I'm going to come out, pull away, and come back in. Come out, pull away, and then go back in. Pull away, and go back in. Pull away, and go back in. So it's just this little tiny aura. Now you can, and again, you can make that aura as big as you want. If you want to start auraing down at the bottom like I did here, you can. I'm going to come back to the beginning, because now we're going to do the same thing. So I am going to turn so that I'm doing the same stroke, not changing my hand position, not changing what that stroke is supposed to be. But I am turning my tile, because again, my right hand is not moving. It's staying in the same position every time. And our hands do not do yoga. And that is blockchain. I think it's really cool. You can have a lot of fun with it. I think if we change and this is what makes fun or makes it fun in a sketchbook as well, because then you can look at it and say, okay, I can do this. So I would really emphasize the curve, or that's what I'm seeing to emphasize. And then I'm going to turn it, do the same thing. So we've got that. I'm still going to take it back to the beginning. But here, since we've got that curve, we can really create this point and have fun with that. So you can start seeing different shapes as you keep going through. And you can just keep playing with it, which is a lot of fun. So bump out and bump out. And then again, we can have fun with our inking. Can add a highlight in there. You don't always have to ink in solid. Okay, I need a bigger one for this one. So now we've got this different look with blockchain. Don't forget about our highlight. It comes out. And you can really elongate that. I just like this, looks like an eye, right? Kalinda, I do the same thing. It's not weird. Don't think it's weird. I do the same thing. Yeah. When it comes to the sketchbook, yeah, I do it on scratch paper and have all those fun. And then I'll even tape them in there as well. You know, like all of these will be put into the section when it comes to that. But what I'm also seeing with this too, and I don't know if it'll be possible, so let's see, let's just do two rice shapes. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's Muka. And you're literally about to see it right now. So something that I'm seeing with this, and when you take a tangle and you add different things to it. And we can call that a tangulation of sorts. So I'm going to come up and I'm really going to add that curve. Really going to add that curve. So we have that. But what if we continue that curve into Muka? And we'll just take that off there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm starting to like this one now. So you can see, you can add these different aspects to it. And just have fun with it. And we'll add that there. And we'll just add that going off there. So now we've got Muka. So, Kalinda, Muka is this. It's Mooka, and it's by Zentangle. And it is this, do it in one stroke. I hold my breath. And then I come down. Muka. And Muka's a crazy thing. It just keeps going and going. I always take my time when I come back. And recently, I've started giving it a base like this. I don't know why. Can bump into each other. Muka. These are called kissing mukas. Muka. Yes, exactly, Cordelia. It is. It is. It's a grown-up fescue because fescue is just this little tiny thing that comes in and goes, woo. Hello. I'm here to join the fun. Hello. And that's fescue with an E. So I think blockchain is very interesting. I think it can be lots of fun when it comes to it. I think shading it would be very interesting. If we just added it here and extended it up. For some reason, I want to call them like tentacles. And I'm using the heavier graphite. I just feel it just needs that heavy, heavy graphite. And I think with that, like this pop of white or that clean area there, I think that just adds a lot of interest as well. Very interesting. This one is very, very interesting. And by putting graphite there, it makes it look like it's overlapping. And it's intertwining. So it's got a lot of neat and different properties to it. So there you go. It's like a puffy rope thing. I think it's cool. I think it's very cool. And again, these outer parts, you can change them. You can make them look like a wave, or add muka to it. And what does that do? You know, when it comes to whatever you're adding it to, or change the way that you're shading it. You know, just focus in on these areas here. And again, I'm using the heavier graphite. Because to me, this is just a very strong, it's got power to it, this tangle. And then you can just add a touch to your mucus. So, yeah, kind of liking that and how that would evolve into that, right? So again, don't be afraid to change things up a little bit. All right, now give me 1 second. I will be right back. Hang on. All right, I am back. Oops. All right. Let me put these aside. And now let's do see what time is it? 10:20. We can do one more. Absolutely. Okay, so while I'm looking up the next one that I want to do, let's give you some updates. So, like I said 2 weeks ago, again, so sorry I canceled it at the last minute. Um, the community is moving, and it's moving here. Um, I think it's going to be a better location for you all if you're interested in it. It's definitely already a better location for me instead of bouncing back and forth. But there was just some changes that were happening that I was not happy with. Um, and I wasn't happy because it was just going to cause issues for you guys actually. And I did not want that to happen. I wasn't going to allow that. So, with that, we made a decision, or I made a decision to have the community moved to YouTube. And it is done. So for those of you that are over onto the other site, even in the free level, that is going to be totally shut down, closed out later on this afternoon. The free things will continue, and they're going to continue here, on right here. Whether it's a live, whether it's a video during the week, same setup, same full step-by-step tutorial. So they'll be long. You know, we're looking at, you know, tutorials going, you know, 2-3 hours or an hour. But they're going to be full step-by-step tutorials. So those tutorials that were sitting in the free, in the other software, they're going to slowly come out here. Because again, they were free. So you're going to see those. Now, to be notified, you do want to make sure so that you know when they come out, because they already sit in YouTube. I'm just taking them from unlisted to public. And I know sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't work. But you do want to make sure that you have your notifications, you know, hit the bell, set your notifications, because you will be notified and they will be put into your feed. So I did check that out. All right, so the next, we're going to do Noom Wreathus soon, as soon as I'm done gabbing. All right, so that's that there. So they're going to start slowly coming out. And these were card techniques. So there's going to be one on 3D embossing folders, one on ink smushing, and all that. And again, these were the tutorials that were free already. For the other two levels, they have been set up in the memberships. So you'll see a button now on my channel that says join, and there's two levels. One's $2.99 and the other one's $9.99. So all of those tutorials that were in those two levels have been moved into those two levels. What's also been moved into the $2.99 level is, in the other platform, I had courses, full-length courses, anywhere from 2 hours up to 7 hours for the colored pencil. In the $2.99 course, I have added the introduction to the Zentangle method into there, and it's about 4-5 hours. So that course has been added into that level. So you will have access to that. And again, that's $2.99 a month. And in that level, We're going to do tangling. That's where the challenges will sit because every Sunday, first Sunday of the month, we do tangling here. But there'll be tangling projects in there. There's going to be card techniques in there when it comes to projects and so forth. So for $2.99, you'll get one project, whether it's a Zentangle or whether it's a card technique. And card techniques will have themes. So we're going to dig into our stash. We're going to grab 5 things and we're going to create cards with that. So something like that. In the $9.99 level, I've added all of the tutorials that have gone to there in the other platform, and that's where they had reside. So that's where they're going to sit there, along with all of the other courses that I had. Now, I had one on stencils. I have the Mahumba colored pencils. That's about over 6 hours of instruction just on colored pencils. How to work with them, how to use them, how to blend, all of that fun stuff. And then there is 4 separate Tangle videos. And it's actually the 4 tutorials from my very first stamp set that I launched back in 2023. Yep, 2023. Woo, time flies. So those courses are now in that level. As courses are continued to be created, they will be put in either the $2.99 membership or the $9.99 membership. If you are curious and on the fence that, whether or not you can, there are playlists that are public for those 2 levels, and you can see what the item is that we did. When you click on the video, though, you won't see it because it is for the members that are in those levels. So that's what we have structured, and it's all right here. You don't have to go to another platform. You don't have to go anywhere else. It's all sitting right there for you. And it's all going to sit in YouTube. And then, of course, there'll be other things. Each level of those paid levels will have live streams. But again, we have that in the free level as well. They'll have discounts. You'll know about discounts here and all of that fun stuff. So if you're interested, love to have you, but I love having you here as well. So everything is going to be housed right here. Don't need to go anywhere else. And neither do I. So I wanted to let everyone know that. Gwen, I don't know what you're looking at. When you click on the join button, you should not be seeing those figures. So I don't know where you're at because those numbers are not correct. And I know Cordelia did that. Okay, look at Cordelia. She's answering that. I have no idea what you're doing. All right, so love to have you there. Love to have you here. But everything is going to sit here. Okay? Now, if anybody's got any questions, guys, you know how to hunt me down. I will answer any questions that you had. Let's see. Okay, let's get back to the loving your musical edition of March. Okay. Had some pencils like over my college days way back when. You can use those, Kalinda. Yes. So HB is a number 2 pencil. Just a regular, Ticonderoga number 2 pencil. That's an HB. All right. And then your 2B, like that, HB and 2B. What is it? You can, it's going to be just a little bit darker. So as you go up in the B's, 2, 4, 6, 8, you're going to have a thicker, a deeper amount of graphite. As you get higher into the H's, it'll be lighter. So you want to stay HB or B side, if that makes sense. And 4B is perfect. Me, I like to go dark. Yeah. So I like the 8Bs, but I love the number 2, the regular HB as well. And what's nice is if you use all of them, you can get those different shades just like we did here by using different pens. Here I used the heavier graphite. Here I used the lighter. And you can see the difference between the two as the sun glares on it. So you can get those differences just by using one color. Yes. It's 4B, as you get higher into the Bs, the graphite's softer. And that's just like these as well. So this is a regular HB number 2 pencil. This here is what Generals is calling their 555. But it's a lot softer. So if I look here and it's very light, you can see how light that is. This, you can see how much darker that is with the same amount of pressure. And that's because it's softer. So if I crank down, you can see just how much went there. If I crank down on this, you can see it's a little grayer when it comes down. So it will be softer. Definitely. All right. Noom Wreathus. Now, there's also the original Tangle was Noom Rumpus. R-E. This is a newer version. And it's really cool because it's like this chain link. And we're going to create a wreath to that. Large S-curves are going to come out. Now, I switched over into my Micron PM because I think that 01 was drying out finally, or amazingly. And I'm working on a bigger tile. And this is just a piece of watercolor paper. All right, so big S. And we're going to do it again, but not connect them. So we're going to cross into them, just like that. I'm going to turn. And I'm going to come over to this side because it's just easier for me. And we're going to do another S. We'll come over here. We're going to do an S. Come over here. And come over here. So you can see how they've linked together. All right. From the top side or the outside, we're going to connect. So I'm going to come here, and it's going to be just a slight S curve, more of a C curve. So I'm going to come out and then come back in. I'm going to come out and come back in. And you can see this up here, I'm kind of making it look like it's connecting almost. Coming out and coming back in. Coming out, coming back in. Out, coming back in. And then the final one, coming out, coming back in. Aren't they cute? They look cute, you know it. Now we're going to kind of do the same thing, but now we're going to do it to the inside. So now I'm going to work on this side of the tile. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come out, and we're going to come back in. come out, come back in, come out, come back in, 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 in. So now we've got these links that are starting to form. To finish off this look, we're going to create an S-curve right in between these two open spaces. And we're going to connect them. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go there. I'm going to turn my tile. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go there. So I'm starting a little above, making sure I'm touching, and then coming down. So it's just this slight S-curve. And now they're linked. Anthony, I forgot it's Sunday. Good for you, Anthony. Yay. They do look like hearts. They do. All right, now, to give this a even more, hey, this looks like a chain link, these areas that we came off of, we're going to create another C curve coming off, and we're going to ink that in. And we're going to do the same thing here. So it's almost like creating, you know, like a point that's coming off of that. So you can see how this one's coming up this way, and we're going to come down that way. So we're going to create like a little triangle off of that, and then we're going to ink it in. So there we're creating that triangle, and then inking it in. Now, the bigger your triangle, the more dramatic it looks. And now our last one. See, now we got this chain. Cool, right? And there's so many different things that you can do with these. I mean, you can fill them in, you can, you know, add another layer to it. So like for me, every other one, I'm going to come out and just have that pulled away aura, but I'm going to do every other one. So I'm always going to make sure that this chain link is to the top of where I'm adding that. So like this is to the top, this is not. this isn't to the top. But if I turn my tile, now that one's to the top. And just this little subtle aura, it can add a lot. Now, I'm going to do this side because this is to the top. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other ones. And it just adds this little different effect. Again, remember, always take your time. It's something that I forget to do all the time as well. Oops. And there we go. So now we just have that little flip. Flippity flip. Now I also like to round. So like these here where there's a point. I'm just going to come in and just give it a slight rounding where they meet. It's like adding a little bit of weight. And then we can do that to the inside as well. Now, I think someone asked a question regarding the stamp release. The stamp release, so you can just see, it just rounds out those edges. I love rounding. It just, that little trick just adds so much to your piece. But we are going to do something on the inside here. And I saw this really cute one. And I believe it is called Carp 3 by Georgianna, Klein. It just looks really cute. Alright, let me check out the comments real quick. Let's see. Yes, interlocking teardrops as well. Yes, I like to call it chain link fence. Cordelia's getting more coffee. So Anthony, I actually switched over to my PN. This is the plastic nib. This is a great pen. Again, you can use any pen, but this is a plastic nib. And again, this is the pen when I do an introduction to Zentangle in-person class. In the kits, I put a PN. Because our habit when we learn something new is we are going to take that pen and hold it so that it does not leave our hand. And you can see, I mean, I'm white-knuckled here and all of that, and we are going to just move slowly and just push down on that paper because we're learning something new. It's nothing wrong. It's just as humans, when we learn that, it's what we're going to do. And again, if you do that with an 01, not that one, that's not the one that's drying up. I think it's this one. When we do that, now don't panic, But if I hold this like there's no tomorrow and I push down, that pen is going to break. And that did not take much force. None at all. It's going to break. It's going to snap. You're going to lose and flatten out the felt on the tip of an O1. Now, when I do my in-person, my students, when they're done their course, it's a 3-day course, they do graduate and they get an O1 because they can graduate. Do they ever have to use it? No. Mm-mm. Stick with the PN. There are CZTs today that still only use this PN. They love it. They absolutely love it. And you know what? I think it's great. You can use anything you want. Now, guys, please, I did not waste this pen. It was drying out. It was going to go in the trash, just like it's going to do now. But it does not take much to snap this. Again, when I became certified, I went through an entire box. Yep. So the PN just stands for plastic nib, and it's awesome. As I keep shaking my camera. Yep. All right, the name of that was Noom Wreathus. Wreathus. Oh, the other thing too that will be sitting in the $2.99 thing is a single tangle each month will come out, and you will have access to the step out as well. So that's in the $2.99 also. So lots going on in the $2.99, and again, the $9.99 you get everything going on in the $2.99. You get everything going on here, free, open, just like the $2.99 does. What's added to the $9.99 is another project tutorial and other downloads or anything like that. All right. Carp 3. It's just way too cute. At least I think it's just way too cute. I really want to get into spring. Can you tell? I'm just saying. So this is going to be a grid style tangle, but the grid is formed with dots. So I'm going to put a dot here, here, here. I always start in the middle when I'm doing a grid like this. And then I'm just going to turn my tile so that I'm looking on it head on, and now I'm going to continue to add the grid underneath. And we're just going to keep putting these little dots. Do they have to be perfect? To me, that's the beauty of Zentangle. There are no mistakes. There's no eraser. All right. So there's a dot. That looks cute. Just saying. All right. Now, every other, so I'm going to choose one dot, and off of that dot, we're going to put these little loops. So I'm going to do the top, the bottom, and then I'm going to come out the side, and then I'm going to do the other side. Isn't that adorable? Spring. Bring it on! And we're going to do that to every other one. So here, skip, we're going to go to this one. And then we're going to go to this one. this one. So take your time with a grid like this, because it is easy to just get into the flow with these adorable little spring-like flowers and say, I want them everywhere. But they go every other one. And if you do make a mistake and put one next to it, oh, no big deal. And I think that's all of them. I'm going to put a thing there. Just because. And then I'm going to put a thing here. Just because. Alright. Then our next step is to like color half of the petal. So I'm just going to put like an S curve in here, and then you just color or ink that in. So S curve, S curve, S curve, and you'll fill in the same side. Now you can fill it in any way that you want. If you just want to put, here's some, let's just do some to show you different ways that you could color this in. I'll show you 3 ways. So here, the S curve is, you can come from the top, come from the bottom, and then you color in one side. Okay. That's one way. You could just weight one side. Follow the arc and just add the weight. And then ink that in. You could do that. Or you could put, a smaller petal in there and ink that in. Again, have fun, see what you see, and what you would want to do. Or you can make it look like buttons. So different ways in which you can color these in. And I'm just going to do all the top ones, because for me that's just easier. And then I can turn my tile if I choose. And then I'll ink them all up. don't even have to ink them in. I think they look pretty just like this. And then I'm just going to choose everything on the right is what I'm going to ink in. And pretty soon I will close the drapes. Although I'm loving to see the sun, guys. I'm also liking the sketchiness of this. Okay, so there we go. I just think that looks cute. I do, I do, I do. Yes, damn it. At 9 a.m. Eastern on Sundays, I go live. And I'm thinking about going live one more day. What day during the week do you go live? It's funny you should ask. I haven't decided yet. But I am going to have another day that I'm possibly going to go live. And it's going to be at night. So Eastern time, night. So maybe like 6:30 p.m., 7 p.m. Yeah. I just haven't figured that out yet. So, yeah. Stay tuned for that. All right. So now that we've done this, again, even that is cute. But now what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this like this so that I have my grids at 90-degree angles, well, somewhat. Okay, and nothing's perfect. Because now we're going to come out of this corner here, and it's going to be an S curve. So, well, it's going to come up and down. So from here, we're going to come up to that dot, and from that dot, we go up. So see how we're connecting that? So here we're going to go to the dot, and then we go back out. So that S curve goes through the dot. So we start down, and then we come up. So come up, go through the dot, go into the flower. And then this one, I'm just going to have that line go like that. I'm going to have that line go like that. And then I'm going to have this one go like that. Again, I'm just imagining these lines when we're not fully connected. So this here, we're going to go up. Because again, it's going through and coming out. So this here, we're going to come up and go through. Come out the bottom, through the dot, up the top. Down the bottom, through the dot, up. like a song. And then you just reverse it when you're coming out the other side. So out through the dot, up. Up through the dot, down. Sing it with me. Just kidding. I'm going to go like that. And come up. Go like that. Again, just envisioning it. Just envisioning that process. This is going to go down. And that's going to go up. So now we have these lines going through. Then what we're going to do is, now we're going to turn it that 90 degrees. So now we're going this way through our piece. And again, you've got to take your time with this because again, we're going every other one. But here's the dot and here's 2 flowers. So you can see I'm starting kind of in the center of this grid so that I can get my bearings. So the same thing. Here's my dot, here's 2 flowers. I'm coming out like I did before, going through the dot and going through the top. Coming down through the dot, going to the top. Coming out the top, going through the dot, going down. So see, we're kind of getting this apple core for my quilters out there. This apple core shape. And probably some of you are like, what is she talking about? So that's the apple core shape right there. Did I lose anyone on this one? You can see you're coming out, once you do these 2 lines, you're coming out of every point on the flower in between the petals. I'm making sure people... Oh, yay, Anthony. Okay, I'm going to tune in. Yeah, I haven't figured out what my day is yet, so it's going to be a while. And there you go. I just think that looks really cute. Very, very cute. Good morning, Holly. How are you doing? Oh. I'm so sorry you're sick. I'm so sorry. I was, and still am. I still have whatever this is going around, and I'm going on my 3rd week now. Yeah. So it's all kinds of fun. All kinds of fun. I know you don't have it. Yeah. This was just amazing. With whatever this was, it was just amazing. Yeah. So that's our center. Now we can have fun with the, again, that was carp 3. Now the Noom Rumpus, we can have some fun because you know I'm going to be adding some flux, right? Just saying. And we can do that right in our pieces. So I'm going to go back to my gray because I just love the difference and the subtlety that this gives. And on the other side, I'm just going to add 3 flux. And what I mean on the other side where we put this little flap. Now you can certainly do this with the brown. You can do this with a darker gray. You can do this with a pencil. You know, whatever you would want to do this with. And now I'm going to do the same thing to the other ones. So see, I always make sure the pieces, if I'm adding something, are sitting the same way. Well, again, that's just something that I do. All right, so we have that. I'm going to switch back to my black. And now we can just have fun adding some curlicues. I love adding these things. It's like adding embellishments to our cards, right? And for me, these embellishments are the fescues, the mucas, the tipples, um, those little pieces that, you know, just add something interesting to the piece. And then I'm going to add rounding. And again, it's just that little curve, and then we ink in that space. So wherever there's a sharp point like that, and I'm off camera and you can't see it, that's where I'm adding that little curve and inking that in. And then I can fill in. You know it. The dipple. Just balances out for me. Yeah. Fuzzy. Now, with the membership too, that I also want to say, um, with all of the courses, especially in um, the highest tier. Now, again, the course that went into the lower tier is a 4-hour course on the introduction to Zentangle, and that will always stay in there. Um, there won't be a project for March for that group, mainly because you have, and again, the courses that went in. So in the top tier, you have close to $250 valued at courses that are sitting in there that you'll have access every month to. And then in the lower tier, it's the Zentangle class is like 50. So you'll have access to those. And again, if you're in the Podia, the other software, that is going to be closed down this afternoon. All right, so that is going to be shut down. I want to get out of that as quickly as possible. It's a nice program. I am not bashing the program. It is a good program. I just didn't like one of the changes that was coming down. It was not making me happy. And if I'm not happy, you all won't be happy. So there will be a project, though, coming out in the lower tier for March. So I just wanted to let you know that. So I figured with the higher tier, you had a lot of courses in there to have fun with. So just have fun looking at those, reviewing those. And then everything will be rolling. And again, all of the free content is it's just going to stay here. Lives will stay on Sunday at 9 a.m. I don't want to change that. I was thinking about changing it. But I do enjoy going live at this time. I know it's not the most convenient time for some. But that's okay. That's why there's a replay. Right? So here I'm just continuing to round these corners. And all that. There you go. See? I love that. That was a fun tangle. That was a fun tangle. Now, Kalinda, there's no eraser. But what you could also do, Kalinda, as well, is, again, you might be thinking, okay, well, I went outside the line, or I did this, or this line isn't that straight. And that's okay. I understand what you're looking at. All right? I get it. But like here, let me zoom in here. You see here, it's not a perfect orb, and it's kind of got like a little bump there, and I'm okay with it. But if you want, I mean, I can just sit here and just add more black ink to it. That's adding weight. So that's actually a technique in Zentangle to add weight when it comes to that. So don't. Yes, I'm trying to break that thought, and because again, it took a while for me to break that thought. I'm like, okay, oh, that line's not that. But what I can promise, if every day, grab your sketchbook or get another sketchbook where you're just practicing the strokes. Choose a tangle that you love. A tangle that you are absolutely in love with. It is your favorite tangle. And every day, do that tangle for 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. That's having a cup of coffee in the morning in that sketchbook. And if you look, when you go back to the beginning of that sketchbook, you're gonna go, oh, it's just like when we creators on YouTube, when I go back to my first video, I'm like, oh my goodness, absolutely. It's new, it's different. We're gonna jump right in. We're gonna try it. It's okay. But as you continue to page through those pages, you're gonna see your strokes are gonna get the way you want them to look. Okay? They're not they're going to smooth out. Your hand is going to get more comfortable. It's going to change. Just like as I continue to tangle, in the beginning it's rough. But then by the time I get through the day or the project that I'm working on, I can tell that I'm more comfortable. I'm relaxed. And I go through that. I mean, I can see even the difference between these. You know, this one more, I can already tell. Yep, I was more comfortable on this one. Having a ball, was loosening up in this one. And this one, yeah, this got me started. This was my warm up. And you can see that there is a difference. And nobody type in here, no, there's not. And even if you put the line in the wrong spot, it's okay. Add a fescue. You can go completely over something when it comes to fescues, when it comes to... There is a whiteout in Zentangle. So let's look at our muka with the fescue. And that whiteout hang on. Is called Bronx Cheer. And it's by Zentangle. So let's say I don't like this. As weird as that sounds. Okay, I don't like this. Bronx Cheer is nothing more than a Printemps really tight. That's how I used to do my Printemps. Yeah, it's just keep spinning. Don't ink it in. Let all those lines show. Let that sketchiness show. That's Bronx Cheer. So if I want to hide this, you can make them any size you want. And this is a tangle. And now, underneath that, you can't see that they were separated. That's your whiteout. So you can put clusters, like, here, I went over that line. Okay. Now, you can't see it anymore. It's totally covered up by all these little scratchy circles. That's your whiteout in Zentangle. Oh, have a good one, Anthony. So, see? Oh, don't change. I will not change your Sunday mornings, Cordelia. Oh my goodness. No. So that's how we handle boo-boos. But there's no boo-boos. There's no mistakes. There's none of that. So that's for whiteout. Because it's actually a berry. So you can make it. See, it's a berry. That's also Bronx cheer. So that's our whiteout. Yeah, my handwriting's horrible. Okay, let's get back to our. I hope that helped. I know I'm wasting post-its, but I love my post-its. All right, so let's shade. And you know what? Well, no, I'm gonna keep them like that. Nope, 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 nope. To get a darker gray. I want these to stand out just a little bit more. So to do that, I'm just gonna real quick go back over them. That's one nice thing with these micron pens or any type of fine liner. If you go over it again, you are going to make that color just a little bit darker. And I know they make a darker gray. I just didn't want to dig for it. All right. Oh, I don't think I finished either. So, stamp launch. Stamp launch will be April 12th, I think. I'm up. Look at my calendar. Yes, April 12th. Sunday, live. That's when the collection is going to completely launch. That's when I'll show the samples that I made, um, and all that fun stuff. I believe we'll have a couple sneak peeks before that. And I do believe that we're going to put them on pre-order status. Um, so more details to come on that. But the actual physical release will be the 12th of April. Kind of works out for me, and also don't forget we've got Toby, beautiful job, Sean, awesome job, where they're going to do their magic as well. All right, I'm going to stick with my regular graphite, and I'm just going to put a little bit at the base of the flux. And this one I'm actually going to do in steps, meaning I'm going to get all the graphite down in the flux, and then I'm going to get that spread out into the paper. Because I want to focus on the wreath. All right. Now, let's see what this... and what this wreath is going to do. All right. Now, for this chain, you've got these different areas that you can shade. So you've got that. And then you've got this side. Because again, you want to make sure that it looks like it's interlocking. So see how that now looks like it's interlocking when it comes to that, just by going on the two sides. And then we're just going to come in here as well to show that piece going through. Again, we're going to go there. And we're going to go here. So now we have that. And then I think I'm going to come in around the inside of this. And just push this back. So we're kind of highlighting the wreath and pushing, we'll call it the tapestry, back down. And then I'm just going to put a little bit around each of these. And it just gives it a little shadow. You know, kind of say, hey, I'm here. And even that you can round. And then you can also add a little bit on the outside of our flux. And I'm just putting it where they cross in the two spots, and then I'm using what's left to blend it out so that it doesn't get too overwhelming, because again, I used that gray. Again, just putting that little bit right where they meet. Blending those two areas out and then just bouncing up around them. Because whenever you do this, you get graphite on whatever it is you're using to blend. So there's always a residual there. And you can make it work to your advantage. And there we go. So you just get this soft effect when you do that for the flux. Now, if this is done, like this would look also great on a course of like a gray or a tan, because then you could really use that white and really make them pop up off of your page. And then I like just how that's being just pushed back. Again, just using that residual, pulling out the graphite just to give it that grayish look so that it goes back down. And again, just by using your graphite. Yeah. Alright, let's get our chop. like that. I always add, it's like a journal in the back, what tangles you used, if they were, if there's no name to it, then I know that Zentangle, but I always respect the artist of theirs as well. There you go. Yeah, I think, Ave, I think I am going to do the pre-order, basically, and then that will hit towards the end. I'll probably do that towards the end of March. Um, and I'll always announce that because it'll happen the day of the live when it comes to that. Yeah, Bronx cheer is great, Kalinda. It really does a lot, and it's pretty. As strange as it is, it really is pretty. Want to make sure we always sign our tiles. Always add our chops. This is the fun play that we had that I need to sign. What is this one called? No. 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 Oh. Where'd that name go? Oh. Oh, here we go. Blockchain. So those are the ones we did today. Oh, let's pay homage to the whiteout of Zentangle. Absolutely. Must have that. So yeah, so there'll be more. Fingers crossed. I will be here next Sunday, and we are going to have some fun just die cutting. We're going to do lots of die cutting, which I'll have all done prior. So we're going to have some fun with that. I want to play with the recent release by Sabrina. So I hope you'll be there for that. Lots of fun. And again, if you want, if you're coming in late, watch the replay. Talk about what the membership is doing, what's in there, what you're going to get, what came over, and the value of what came over, and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, lots going on. Lots and lots. Okay, that's a bad sun glare. Lots and lots is going on. But I appreciate all of your patience through this. Holly, I hope you're feeling better. And I hope you get better soon. And I hope it's not what I have. Oh, I just saw, damn it, Ant's comment. Oh, okay. Okay. There's something to look forward to. It does linger. And I believe I have what lingers. Yeah. So that's fun. But that's okay. We're gonna keep pushing because I've been away from my studio too long. much too long when it comes to this. So, we will stay here on Sundays. I will be back here 9 a.m. or, 10 of. I'm usually here about 10 minutes early. Next Sunday. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Again, if you have any questions with what I talked about and the changes coming down, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email's connected here again. Stay tuned for announcements that'll happen in the community. Again, that's where they're going to happen there. And I'm looking at opening other things as well as I continue to research and make sure everything works out with this. Again, if you're in the other software, the 2 levels have been shut down already. And later on today, I will be closing the entire account down today. So if you're over on the free side, just stay where you're at right now, because all of that is going to come here. All right? Guys, have a wonderful day. Continue to stay safe and healthy. Again, for those of you that are under the weather, I hope you're feeling better soon. I will see you next week, and stay tuned for more to come. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.